Hello, in this 10-minute PD, we're going to be talking about how to give feedback in Google Docs and Google Slides through audio and visual ways. So, one way that you can do it, and you've noticed there's a lot of comments right here on the side right now, is that you can leave a Screencastify video. So, if you're not able to always meet with the students, you can always make a quick video for them. So, I would be able to add a comment saying, hey, watch this video for feedback. And I can insert that link for them. So when it hits for comment, they can click on it and it's going to bring them to a Screencastify video that I've created. So as they can see right now that this is the video that I've created. There are no comments on it right now. So if you have a student who looks at all those comments and doesn't always know what they mean, talk through them for them. So as you're leaving comments, talk through those comments and just record yourself.
So today in your realistic fiction story, we're going to be thinking about how can we add those actions and a little bit more description. So as we go through, I'm going to be leaving some comments that you.
So I started off by saying, what is the goals that I'm looking for? So if you are doing goal-based editing, only leave feedback on those goals because you don't want to overwhelm the students with too much feedback, too much information. They're not going to know where to start.
You'll be able to go through and look at after. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put myself into suggesting mode. So I'm not changing your paper, I'm just making suggestions. Here we go.
So students know that I am not making changes. I am giving suggestions. They don't have to listen to my suggestions, but it is a way that they are going to get feedback. So I tell them I'm in suggesting mode. So when they look at it, they know I'm not changing their paper.
So come on, get your bags. It's time to go. My dad said on a Saturday at 6:30 in the morning. So I'm wondering, how could we describe that instead? So I'm just going to add a comment on the side. How can we show the time instead? So what I'm thinking is I'm kind of thinking it through my head. My dad said on the one of the few days that I don't have to wake up for school. Or my dad said as the sun started peeking through my curtains. So thinking about how could we show instead of telling them. So showing them.
So at this point, I would start teaching into students that when I give those suggestions, they need to pause the video and go into their writing and start making those changes right then and there. That way they don't listen to all of the suggestions and then try to go back and revise all of them. Right now, when that's fresh in my head about that one comment, as the writer, I should go back to my writing, click on that comment. How can I show time instead? And I should go right in and edit that right at that moment. Pause the video and edit that comment. Did you also notice that, like, when I come over here, everything's just kind of everywhere and it's kind of a little overwhelming? If the students click on the highlighted part, it's going to highlight that comment. It's going to highlight what's right there. So I had made a comment in the video. How can I show time instead? So let me make sure that I'm on editing. So if I was being the student, I'm going to edit this. Said, as the sun poked through the curtains in my room. This is the only day I have to sleep in during the week. Why do I have to wake up? I thought to myself, period. So now that I've done that, but as I did that, I also noticed that I deleted the comment. So if I go back into my comment history, I can probably find that one, show, and I can just say completed. I added more details. Okay. And I'm just going to hit reply so that my teacher knows that I went back and I did that. So now that I've done that one, I'm going to go back to my Screencastify video and I'm going to hit play.
Let me sleep, my brother Jake. Me and my brother Jake said together. No, I can't let you sleep. Get up, my dad said while tickling me and Jake. So what I'm kind of thinking is how can we show? How can we show? So kind of like, what was your reaction too? So I'm going to cancel that. I'm going to make a suggestion. I can't let you both sleep. Get up. my dad said as he walked over to my brother and began to tickle him. What did you do? Because maybe you didn't want to get tickled. So he's tickling Jake, and does he walk over to you next? Do you roll over, put your feet on the floor? So maybe what do you do? So I'm going to make that comment right there.
So as a student, I'm listening
What
and I'm reflecting on what I can do.
do
But
you
I'm waiting
do
till the teacher's done
as
with this
Jake
section
is
before I go
being
back and revise it.
Okay, so what are you doing? Think about what you can say to show it to. My brother Jake.
Okay, so I noticed the teacher's moving on. So I'm going to go pause it and I'm going to go back in here. Okay, so my dad walked over. I think I like that suggestion, so I'm going to keep it. And then the teacher made the suggestion, what do I do as Jake's being tickled? Let's see, it tickled him. I laid in bed as quiet and still as I could and hoped that I wasn't about to be tickled too. Okay, so now that was the suggestion. I added more. I just want that, so as a teacher, I can look back and say, okay, and then I'm not going to resolve it. The teacher can do that later. Okay, so now that I did that, so do you see how I'm going back and forth between the video and unpausing? So the video that I created for this student is 5 minutes long, which can be a little overwhelming, but are you going to do this for every student? Probably not. Maybe you have a student that you do a video for maybe once a week, maybe twice a week. Another thing that I've done is I've taken student work that's goal based, and I have said, you know what, in this video, we're going to be working on adding details to show, not tell. And I've actually showed that video to multiple people. So they get the mini lesson, but it's not exactly their paper. So they're still getting that example. So I probably wouldn't talk out as much through the comments on the side, but I do more editing right in the story. Another one that I've done with this is I've actually typed out my own story and talked out the story as I was writing it to show what they could be doing in their writing. When I model what showing versus telling is. I've done it right in there. So this is a way that I can give students a video feedback right here at the top. So they click on it, it's right there for them. They can access it whenever they want. The other thing that I did in this video is I only did this first little bit. I don't want to overwhelm the students. But at the same time, I don't want to make a lot of comments, because if I'm teaching them and modeling how to add and not like show, don't tell right in there, I want them to be able to go on and be a little bit more independent with it, or maybe use peer feedback, or them just being able to go and read it and discover where they could put more. But I don't want to revise their entire paper. I don't want to put comments on their entire paper. I spend just the top part. That's it. I just want to give a piece of information for them. So this is one way that you can use video comments. Another thing is you can use Mote. Mote is, it used to be free. Unfortunately, it's not completely free anymore. You can make 20 motes a month. I am still looking for better ways to do the audio kind of feedback for students, but none of them work as good as Mote does right in Google. So I'm trying to figure out what I can do. But what you can do is I can just say, hey, you know what, right there, I want to leave a comment. And Mote is right there. Mote. So I would just click on it and it would start recording. I noticed that you are not capitalizing your I's. When the pronoun I must be capitalized every time you use it. Something else that I noticed is your it's. ITS is the possessive it's, it owns it. IT apostrophe S is a contraction for it is. Please make sure you're going and looking back at those as well. So now it's going to be, so I'm going to put that right in. So your students, when they click on it, they would say, hey, I've got a comment right here.
Click on it and it would start recording. I noticed that you are not capitalizing your I.
So students will be able to go, they'd be able to listen to your comment and not always have to be able to read it. For some students, they need to be able to hear it, they need to be able to see it, they need to hear your words. So using videos and Mote could help with giving those students comments. If you have any questions about leaving feedback for students in Google's, please reach out to me.